Hi, I'm Duncan Raban. I'm a photographer and I love meeting new people. Follow me on a journey to many different locations where I will meet, talk to and take pictures of some of the most exciting people whilst finding out about their life stories. This is Duncan's People.
Today we're at Great Ormand Street Children's Hospital, somewhere that has completely changed the way I look at life and changed my life, made me treasure life since I've been photographing all the young children, doctors and nurses here. Today's a special day, I'm visiting someone special. 4 months ago I was walking down a corridor and a little girl shouted out my name, "Mr. Photographer, can you take my photo?" I looked round, there's a little girl with ginger hair and tubes hanging out of her, attached to a big heart monitoring machine. Her name was Amy. This is Amy, and this is her dad, he's a bus driver. Amy was in here having heart treatment because 2 years ago she had a new heart, and sadly the body, her little body, has been rejecting that heart. So she's been in and out of hospital for 2 years. And she's the most wonderful child you could ever imagine. So funny. And now I had a phone call and I've come here because Amy's upstairs and she's just had her second heart transplant. So I'm going upstairs, she's in intensive care, and I'm going to see her and her parents, who I'm very, very close to now, and become a big part of my life. So here we are outside intensive care with, at Great Ormand Street with an incredible man who we're going to have a chat to about the last 3 years of his life. And just past this door, as I said, is intensive care, and that's where most people need to visit in their lives, so they can treasure life more. That's all I can say, isn't it, Adam? Yep. Okay? And Adam's got fabulous Amy in there, who's looking great, isn't she? After her second heart transplant. And you give her a big kiss for me, won't you? And so Adam, when did you first find out that Amy had some sort of a heart problem? Did you actually, was there any sort of warning or anything like that at all?
When I say unwell, the vein in her hands and in her neck were just pulsing. And she was breathing as if she was an asthmatic. And I went, "What's wrong?" I said to Veronica, "What's wrong with Amy?" And she kind of said, "She has something wrong with her." So with that, I just had a couple of hours sleep, got up, and Amy was still the same. I said, "Well, what are we doing about it?" And she said, "We'll go to the hospital." 2.5 hours later, maybe 2 hours, the phone rings, and it wasn't Veronica on the phone. It was a nurse. Asked me how quick could I get to the hospital. That Amy was in, as we call it, intensive care. Then the doctor came in about 11 o'clock that night, and we just sat around waiting for him to come out to tell us to come back in. When he did come in, he said, "Your daughter has cardiomyopathy," which is a straining of the heart from a viral infection. Made her heart go from the size of an orange to a grapefruit. That's when she had her transplant.
So how did you find out that she may have only 24 hours to live?
That was the doctor told us that. And that's when he phoned around to find out what could be done for her to keep her going. That's when I don't remember falling to the floor and being picked up by a nurse and put in a chair. Veronica, I cannot tell you what she done because I was just shocked, upset. Felt like jumping out the window. I was on the phone to my dad and Veronica was just sitting there. She was handing the phone back to me and her phone rang. And it was the cardiac team in Great Ormand Street saying, "We could have a match for Amy. Can you come over and talk to us now?" And I screamed, I shouted, because it was a relief. I remember running across the road, and so did Veronica, and they said, "This could work, it might not work, but it's a chance for Amy." So 11 came, no phone call. Midnight came, they said, "The heart is good, we're going to go ahead with the operation." And then they brought us down to theatre. And they said, "This is as far as Mummy and Daddy can go. Do whatever you want to do to Amy now." So I kissed her on the forehead and I said, see you later. It ended up being 6 o'clock in the morning when she went down to theatre, because they wanted to make sure everything was right. Because they knew if they opened her, well, what would happen if... So they done that. And 12 o'clock we got a phone call to come over and say hello to her. And that was it, and we were here for a little over 3 months.
So Adam, how did you first get to find out that Amy needed a second heart transplant?
It would have been September of last year. Amy was completely unwell. Veronica brought her to school, she got sick, she rang me to say Amy's not going to school, I think she has rejection. They brought her over here then, they kept a close eye on her. Great Ormand Street and Crumlin, which is the hospital where we are, daily contact. They brought her over, they done an angiogram on her, and they found that the arteries at the back of the heart had ceased. They just closed due to body rejection of the heart. That was it. We went back to Crumlin. They turned around and said, there's nothing more we can do except give her this medication and hope that Great Ormand Street will accept her for a second heart transplant.
How did you find out when she was getting the second heart transplant?
Veronica rang me and said, Amy's going to London tonight. And I went, okay, Amy's going to London. With that, she hung up the phone because she knew I was in work. I rang the local Gardaí, the police to you over here, and they hadn't got anybody available, but they had people meet me outside Dublin and escorted me all the way to the garage. Had a police car at the garage to bring me to the hospital, and there was an ambulance there. Everything that was done from the time I got the phone call was done with blue light. To the time we got here 11, 12 o'clock on the 2nd of June. Amy had a transplant on the 3rd of June.
Adam, thanks so much for telling us 3.5 years of your life in 10 or 15 minutes here. I just can't believe some of the stuff you've told us, and I'm sure anyone watching this will feel for you. Thanks so much, and Amy's across the road, so I guess we better go back over there and give her a hug. I've been in intensive care with them, with Amy. They've just been getting Amy dressed, poor little thing. And they still don't know if they're flying back today. And they've just had a phone call. So now things are starting to move. They're going to get Amy ready. And Mum and Amy are going to be flying back to Dublin in the next half an hour. And Adam's going to be going back on a commercial flight, a normal Aer Lingus flight. So it's fantastic news, but I think they'll be so pleased to get back home.
We've still got a long road to go. About another month in hospital in Dublin for rehabilitation, and then take her home, and then back and forward twice between now and the end of the year. Once in 8 weeks, and then probably just shortly after Christmas or before Christmas, they'll bring us over again. And then we just get on with life, treat it as if nothing ever happened, the way we did before we had the second transplant. We just got on with it. I'll go back to work, Amy will go to school for the first time, and Aaron and Rachel will be able to join in all the fun that we're doing. Amy and Veronica are going on a helicopter. I wrap up just talking to them, and they're about to take off, and I'm going to Heathrow to get a plane home. She's looking forward to going home. She really is saying, going home, and she's worried about me because I'm going this way and she's not with me. Normally we travel as a group, if you know what I mean, Amy, Mammy and Daddy. The way it happened meeting Duncan was, he was taking pictures in the hospital for the TikTok book, and he seen Amy, asked permission to take photographs, and from then on he's been a friend for life, if you know what I mean. He's been there, he took pictures, we've had a great time meeting him. He's so easygoing. He is funny, also serious. It made a big difference because what happened was, it might sound weird, but he was a distraction to take the pressure away from you, to let you relax, do what you wanted to do. He'd come in, he's done a load of things with Amy. Amy feels at ease, and if Amy's happy, we're happy.